All right, here we go. We're official. This is Gwen Foster. I am a naturopathic doctor in Katy, Texas. I have been doing natural medicine for 20 years. I have been studying natural medicine and everything that goes with it for about 25 years. I have a lot of history, like many of you guys. We did a call last night, and you know, some people said, just made a comment about not wanting to send like their photograph like now because of, you know, what a bad state they're in, or something on the analyze mode on the Healy, which you'll see in a second. You use a photograph to scan the image to get the information. And, you know, what I want to tell you guys is tonight is that, you know, I want you to have hope, because I used to be a very non-healthy person. Not only was I not a healthy eater, but I had a lot of issues. I'm 57. I did not think I was going to live to be 57. I was very sick. I was at doctors all the time. I was taking 9 medications a day. And when I say to live, I mean to live. And I had issues that many of my clients have. I had lupus and chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and acid reflux and adult onset asthma and allergies to everything. I had the second worst ALCAT allergy test that they at that time had ever seen, because most of my food allergies were severe. And, you know, my life is totally different now. Like, I feel better today than I felt when I was 30. I definitely can do anything I want. I have really no health issues to speak of, except a few challenges with sleep that the Healy has resolved, and that's why I'm a big advocate. But the biggest reason I think I have something I can share with you is that in the course of 25 years, I have personally spent a ton of money, and I'm not bragging, but I have spent a few $100,000 on health devices and health gadgets, and most of them I have sold, or they're sitting in my garage or my closets. Some of them are like, I mean, I even bought a $35,000 thermal imaging camera that right after the warranty was over, it went kaput. So I have all kinds of stuff. And I've been working with informational systems. I own a company that is an informational software company for health. So I have a lot of knowledge, I would say. The reason that's important is because I don't get too excited about things, and I have people pretty much constantly pitching me something, you know, telling me about some device or some supplement or some product or something. And I am a hard sell, because I have spent so much money on things that didn't work, or they might have been good at the time, but, you know, then there's advancement of technology. You know, you can't compare, even like I just got a new iPhone 11, and you can't compare that to my first cell phone. You can't compare that to even 20 years ago. So even technology that I had 20 years ago, like, were not handheld. They weren't an app. You know, apps are fairly new. I started using frequency generators on apps about 10, maybe, well, I guess it was shortly after apps came out. I don't even know if that was 8 or 10 years ago that I was able to use my phone as a frequency generator. So there's all kinds of stuff out there, but most normal human Americans especially have no idea. They're, you know, just kind of plugged into the Western medical system. They don't know that there's other, you know, solutions. And so I have a kind of interesting background in frequencies. I've had multiple frequency devices. And what I always say about them is I never liked them. And it's not that I didn't like the results, because I had some pretty crazy results. I mean, crazy good, not crazy bad. But the thing I didn't like doing was being a frequency generator operator, which meant turning a dial or pushing a setting and making it a certain hertz and following some book and then doing it for a few minutes and then doing it again for a few minutes and then doing something else. And basically you're tied to this equipment, and it's very boring. And even the whole DeClark zappers, I have found that most clients won't comply with, because they won't sit there and do it, you know, 12 minutes, 12 times a day. I mean, who's going to do that? And even with a $4 or $5 app, which you can get on your phone as a frequency generator. In fact, I don't usually do this on this call, but I am going to do it tonight, because I think it kind of can speak more to what I'm really talking about. So let me share my screen right now, and I'll just kind of get into it right this second, because there's lots of apps. Like this one is a frequency generator. And this has been around a very long time. So actually, this is a very simple to use thing. If I had Nina Silver's book, which is like an encyclopedia of frequencies, I can do this. I can, go to, let's say 782.6 hertz. I can pick the sine wave or square wave or sawtooth or whatever, and I can hit play, and you guys can probably hear that. And then I have to count like a minute or 2 or 5 or whatever the instructions are for that particular condition. And then you have to clear that out, and then you have to put in the next one. And then you have to do that for, let's say, 4 minutes, and then play and stop, and then do the next one. And this is what it's like. This is what a frequency session is like with a person who does right frequencies. And, this is a phone app, but I have equipment that, was $15,000. There's stuff you can buy for about $6,000, but none of it's automated. None of it is programmed and automated like the Healy is, not that I know of. Now, there may be something out there, but it wouldn't be $2,500 or $1,500. It would be a lot more expensive. And there's some very skilled frequency generator operators out there that kind of sometimes have their own research and they do their own protocols, and sometimes they're following someone like Nina Silver's work, and her book is awesome. But, having said that, Healy is so easy that I want to just go into it real quick because, when you're looking at a frequency, first of all, you have to know where to look. If you don't know where to look, you already are kind of be stuck with not having a solution. But with the Healy, I can, I don't even know if the app is, let me see if the apps are closed. Nope. I'm not going to close Zoom on y'all like I've done in the past. Okay. So now I can go back and let's get into the app. Okay. So now that I'm in, now everything is like pre-programmed for me. It's like pretty awesome because I can go to all these different programs that are preloaded. Like here are my detox programs. I can go to, let's see, there's 7 here, and they recommend anyone with pain or sleep or low energy issues to start with the gold cycle. This is basically detox, but it's more than detox, but it's really the stuff that Nuno Nina came out with in the first place. And if you guys don't know who he is, you can look him up on the internet. He's like the Dr. Oz of Portugal. And he was involved already with the time waiver technology, which is a system that's always been more popular in Europe than it has been in the US. And they added microcurrents a number of years ago. And Nuno is just super successful. He's super good at what he does. He has pretty much the whole country of Portugal seeking him out for health purposes. And he made an agreement with Time Waiver to take the research he did that was put into the Healy. Well, he is kind of behind the original programs with the Healy, and they didn't stop with what he did because there's these programs and research behind all of these different, categories. So pain, local stimulation, there's 8 programs for different types of pain. There's learning programs. So learning can be concentration. It can be memory. It can be people who don't learn under stress, which is probably just about everybody. But I've even seen some conditions under the advisor program, which I'll show you in a minute, that also come under this category, like seizures and some other brain activity. Actually, I heard something today that I'll share. It was one of the Healy people told me that in Australia, there was, I don't know if it was a study or how they figured this out, but they were saying that the people that were getting lasered with the thermometers, like the thermometer laser guns, are actually triggering seizures in people that never had seizures before. And this is like places that you go to work and they're shooting a gun at you that is checking your temperature. So those are not a good idea, and I would avoid them. Okay, so fitness can be stamina, regeneration, strength, performance, but also weight loss is here, and circulation is here. So there's other things here that would also be very helpful. And then job and sleep. This is the programs I've been using, Balanced Sleep. And this is my personal testimony that I'm not a great sleeper. My mind is way too active. I'm just not, even if my body's tired, sometimes my mind is just still like not going to sleep. So up until the Healy, I was taking 2 to 4 or 5 HTP a night, 2 dual release melatonin, 2 progesterone, 2 Maria products, Settle Down, and sometimes gummy, like whatever you call them, sleep things. So all natural stuff, but sometimes it would take 8 to 10 pills or capsules or even 10 or more to put me to sleep. And I did that for a long time. And before I knew better, I was a Tylenol PM person before I knew that was bad for my liver. So I'm talking about 20 years ago. So anyway, I got the Healy, and the very first night I used balanced sleep, I slept like incredibly. I still took my stuff. And the second night I did not take anything and slept 9.5 hours, and I'm still sleeping great. I'm getting more stuff done every day than I mean, I didn't have anything really wrong except sleep. So you don't really think anything is off, but it's amazing how much even more I'm getting done now because I have the energy to work all day and then do these calls, and I'm writing a book and I'm doing stuff on the weekends, and me and Maria are putting together this workshop for the last weekend of August, and it's like fine. I'm not like dragging or anything, and it's because I'm sleeping great. So, and I've had a few other great testimonies from other people that have had their Healy, and they've all emailed me because of my story and said, oh my God, we're sleeping great. Our whole family's sleeping good. And I'm like, oh yay, that's happy. Because sleep is like one of the core issues that people have that are driving adrenal problems and immune system function problems and thyroid problems and weight gain, especially in the belly. So there's just a lot of reasons that sleep is important. Okay, then there's mental balance, and on this screen there's addiction, anxiety, depression, just overall well-being and contentment. And it's funny because this screen shows up on my dog a lot, which you guys, if you ever listen to one of my calls, you're gonna hear about my dog Eddie. But he's 15, and it's funny, I'll do contentment on him because it shows up on the analyze mode, and he just seems happier. You know, like I don't think he's depressed, but he just seems like a little bit more pep in his step. Okay, and then there's beauty and skin, and these are the anti-aging things, and they said that they're going to expand on this program list next. Like that's what they said on a call I was on with the European leaders, is that they have a lot they're working on with anti-aging because it's the largest healthcare market in the world. But anyway, there's scars, stuff for scars, stuff for healing wounds, acne, aging, skin elasticity. You know, that can be for lots of people, especially over 50 and 60. So I haven't personally had time to run these programs on myself, but it's on my to-do list. And then we have the bioenergetic balance program. So there's 12 on this page and 12 on this page. And these are like more your actual conditions. So eye issues, allergies, you can see the list on your screen. Menopause, menstruation, I have been running the menopause program on myself. Gastrointestinal issues, bacterial issues, food sensitivities. I mean, so many people have those. So there's lots to work with here. I want to say something next page. When we get to meridians, here is where you get more of the organs and body systems. And in meridians, sometimes it's a duplicate, like allergies is here too, but it's different frequencies. So if someone has allergies, they can run the allergy program, they can run the food sensitivity program. I would definitely recommend running detox. So there's always more than kind of one way to skin a cat with Healy. Someone sent me an email the other day and they said, where's the kidney program? What's right here? The kidney program is on the program list, and it's right here under meridians. So if someone's in, kidney disease or renal failure, or even just gout or hypertension or diabetes can be kidney issues. And that we're doing a practitioner training, like I said, the last weekend of August, and we're going to be talking about some of these connections so people can start learning what the different body parts do, because it's not common sense. I can tell you, we're not taught in school. And chakras, these are the chakras. And so if you, sometimes like my throat chakra shows up, and that's like people who have thyroid issues. I have Hashimoto's, it's under, it's managed. But it's also like when people clear their throat a lot, they're hoarse, they talk a lot. Sometimes the people can't speak up for themselves. It can be throat chakra. So sometimes these will show up as the top issues. And then there's the protection programs, and these are awesome. And there's one for sleeping. And sometimes this one shows up for me for sleeping, and I've used it and it works really great too for sleeping. But again, they're different frequencies. So there's 3 sleep programs. And what I would tell people if they're just getting their Healy is, if one program doesn't give you the results you're looking for, try the other one in the same category. Like try the different pain programs, try the different sleep programs, because there's almost always more than one way to work on the same problem. And then these are the deep cycle programs. And so these are programs you're not supposed to do at first when you get your Healy. You're supposed to do them later. But these are like deeper level detox. So you should never go right into these, because you should do gold cycle for a few weeks first. That's what I've heard people say. Every night I run the breath of life and the free flow for my doggy who had early stages of congestive heart failure. And he's definitely acting better and more fine. And like I said, acting more like a puppy again. The Healy Watch program, I want to show these now instead of trying to go back and forth. One of the things that you can get with Healy is a watch, and the watch is like it's not like an iPhone watch because you can't talk from it, but it's more like a Fitbit watch. But what I tell people, I say this all the time, like every day, is that, who cares on a Fitbit watch? If you're not sleeping, you're not sleeping. I don't need a watch. I never bought one of those because I thought, well, that's so stupid. I mean, I know if I'm walking enough, I know if I'm not sleeping. I don't need a watch to tell me that. And I wasn't really into wearing a watch. But with the Healy watch, it not only tells you those kind of same things, what your heart rate's doing, what your heart rate variability is, your blood pressure, as far as spikes go, your stress levels, but it tells you the solution, then what to do about it. So, if your stress levels show up high, there's a stress program. If your heart rate variability is off, which has been my top issue, that would show up. And like, it's a long story. I'll just make it brief, but I was a victim of carbon monoxide poisoning for almost 6 years in Colorado. And I was a person who always said, I don't have anything wrong. I just don't sleep. And now when I got the Healy watch, it was telling me heart rate variability was terrible. And I was a little bit surprised, except for when I was recovering from the carbon monoxide poisoning, I bought a hyperbaric chamber. And I know that your blood is what's most affected with carbon monoxide poisoning. And some people think, well, it just kind of gets out of your system really quick, but it doesn't. It can stay in your system like for years. And so anyway, it's a long story, but it matches what I know about myself. But let's say you had unknown carbon monoxide exposure, like secondhand smoke stuff or exhaust stuff or whatever. It's not the only reason you would have heart rate variability issues. It could just be cardiovascular, but I really didn't think mine was cardiovascular. I thought it was because of the past exposure. But that's something that the watch has definitely been helping me, and my numbers are getting better as I go. And then we have the Healy Watch Meridians. So these are similar to the Healy device Meridians, but they're just more options and more programs to run. And then I think stop here for a second and explain something. There's a Healy device that is the way to run microcurrents and to do analyze, which I'll show you in a second, but without trying to flip back and forth with apps. What I was trying to show you is just all the microcurrent apps, but there's actually multiple apps. And what comes with the Healy watch is the programs up to this point. So the deep cycle back, all these come with the Healy Resonance, which is the top model of the Healy. And then when you get forward to where it starts saying watch, these are extra, and they come with watch programs that you can add if you like, and they're optional. Okay, so they're not necessary. And in fact, I would tell people, get the Healy first, because you have a lot going on there, and then decide if you want to add the watch. I did add the watch, and I'm happy I did, but you may be fine with just getting the Healy as a device. So I know that you're gonna have questions about that, so I'll answer them later. Okay, so then there's digital nutrition, which is another app. And this is a way, and this is the thing that blows my mind. This is a way to get digital nutrition without taking supplements. I know people are like, what? So you can actually take, you know, supplements for your brain, like let's say and there's lots of brain supplements they even show on TV. I forgot the name of the one they have all the commercials about, but you could just click here on brain. And if I wanted to start this, just to show you how this works, because I want to show you how the whole thing works, is at this point, it's transmitting the program to my Healy device, so the little handheld device. And this would send me the supplements for the brain without taking a pill. And so it will tell me in a second how many minutes. So this is a 1 hour program. And you see on the right, it shows 396.6 hertz. And that's what I was saying earlier, that if I were to do that manually, I'd have to watch a timer, and then you'll see it flip. It just flipped to 77.2 hertz, and it's completely automated. All you have to do is start the program, then you can go watch TV or read a book or go outside and water your plants, whatever, it doesn't matter. Down here at the bottom, you can change the settings for the intensity, and the stronger the setting, the more you can feel the electricity, which I don't personally like at all. And some people like it, they want to feel it, that's fine. I don't like it at all. So, and if I want to stop the program, it's simple. You just, you know, it's pulsing, which means it's going. If I click on the middle and I hit the X, I'm out and I'm moving on. Okay. So I can do digital nutrition for my nails, for my thyroid, for, you know, weight, for trace elements, for liver, B complex. So there's just a ton of stuff in here. Like, that's what I've noticed the most, is there's more stuff than I have time to work on, you know, but I have lots of options. But, well, I don't have all these things to work on anyway, but let's say I wanted to do nutrition for my lymphatic system, or for my hormonal system. I have so many things I need to do, like that I like, that are working for me great, that I don't go play too much. And that's not a bad thing. It's just there in case I need it. I have been using the women's multi, this one, and you see it's 96 minutes. That's a long time, but it's giving you all the nutrition that women need. So it'd be like your Garden of Eden, you know, women's formula, or whatever products that you like. Okay, then there's the individual substances like vitamin D, vitamin K, CoQ10, carnitine, phosphorus, taurine, all your vitamins, all your minerals, all of your amino acids. And then there's some of the miscellaneous things like aspartic acid, cortisone, histidine, you know, so just so many options. Okay, so that's pretty much all the programs. If you got everything that Healy has to offer, you have a lot of stuff to choose from. And that's the thing. Next thing I want to show you is, okay, well, how do you know what to choose? You know, because if you're a normal person, this already could look overwhelming, right? Because there's so many possibilities. So what I want to show you next is the Healy Analyze app. And the Healy Analyze app comes with only the Healy Resonance. So the only version of Healy that you can get this with is the Healy Resonance. And I'm not going to show you how to load a person, but for those of you that are new getting your Healys that are on the call, and this is in the instruction manual, is if you add somebody like individual, there's a check mark in the upper right hand corner. If you don't hit that check mark, that's your save function. But some of the basic navigation of this is always in the user manual, so I do recommend that you print and use that. I'm going to pull up my doggy, because I always do. This is a nice little thing I do for him on all the demos. So there's a picture of him. That's Eddie. And I just put in his name and his picture, and that he's a male. You don't have to put in the date of birth or place of birth, but you can if you want to. And then this is a way that I want to also share that this part right here is not new technology. I don't know exactly when Time Waver came on the market, but I've known of technology that can do what I'm about to show you. I'm not taking anything away from Time Waver, because they're a very good company, and I know some people in Europe that love them. But what I'm just saying is, I don't want you guys to think, wow, this just came on the market last week. Well, what's this about? This is technology that's been around a long time, like a long, long time. This is the reason I recommend the Resonance, though. If someone's deciding whether to buy like a Healy Gold, a Holistic Health, or Holistic Health Plus, those are 3 models of Healy that don't have this function, and they have less programs than I have, you know. But what I want to show you is, I have my dog loaded, And if I run the all Healy programs and start the analysis, Healy will decide out of what's most resonant with Eddie, what the best things are to run for him. So you see the top thing is he resonates with Healy Gold Cycle at 55%. And I usually either take a screenshot of this or write it down, just because that way I'm not having to flip back and forth. Under fitness is number 2, bioenergy programs number 2, learning almost always shows up on him, just like that mental one sometimes. Okay, but it said Healy Gold first. So the next thing I can do is go back to Eddie and then go to the Healy Gold, and I can, that's just which category. Now I'm looking at which actual program. Which program do I want to run for him? And the top one for him is release, and then relax, pure. Okay, so there's usually 5. Okay, and you see all 5. This is the super cool part. He's not hooked up to anything. There's no electrodes, there's no wristbands. Now, just to be clear, and I didn't say this earlier and I should have, on the microcurrent program, you are hooked up to the Healy, okay? You have to be hooked up to the Healy with something. It's either against your body or near you, or you have electrodes or wristbands, so you're hooked up to it. On this program, this is totally based on informational medicine and scalar wave stuff. And what I can do is I can actually, it says vibrate. I know broadcast isn't really a technically correct term, but I'm going to say broadcast because more people can probably understand it. And I'm just going to send this to him for 17 seconds. Now, people ask me all the time, well, how long? I just go with how much time I have. I'm doing a demo, so I'm not going to spend an hour on my dog. But if I was sitting in the living room and have the time, I would do these for longer. I mean, it's really, for me, I'm so busy. It's more of a practical question. When people say how long, for me, it's usually very short. That was 17 seconds. You see, that's super fast. Okay, and that's enough because it's just giving him a little taste of all of these remedies. Now, I want to show you something else. Someone brought up, I did a training call last night, and you see on this one, it shows the time and date stamp, and it shows it resonates at 51%, but that's pretty much all the information there. Now, let's say I want to go to, I'm just going to show you one more example just so you can see, is that the other one that it said to do was fitness. So you're just basically taking information and just taking it to the next level. Well, which program in fitness? Because if I didn't broadcast it to him, I could go put the Healy next to him. And with my dog, I just lay it next to his body. He usually starts kind of moving around to where it's at the right spot because he seems very aware. And he doesn't have to be strapped in. So this one now is saying muscles and regeneration. And like I said, he's a 15-year-old dog. So again, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'm gonna show you one more thing. I should have just broadcast it, but I'm not gonna go back to it because I'm gonna show you another example. There's also all these other things at the top of the analyze mode that are not programs in the microcurrent side, but they're things I really love, like Bach flower remedies. That's one of my favorites. Materia Medica is definitely my favorite. Amino acids, which is really nutrition. Australian bush, which is flower essences. Alaskan gem elixirs, which is kind of in that same family. Schlesser salts, which is usually minerals, but there's more listed here. So just for the heck of it tonight, let's do Australian bush. These are also flower essences, but they're great for trying to figure out the state of a person. Like what's their mental state? What can we do to help to support them mentally? So on any of these, depending on how many items are in the database, is how long it takes to do the resonance scan. And that's what I would call it. I would call it a resonance scan because it's scanning to find out of the database of options which things resonate the most. And then there's some percentage number that it gives you. I also want to say, okay, so on the microcurrent side, I'm talking about frequency equipment that's not automated and programmed is in the $6,000 to $15,000 range. This technology right here that I'm showing you, the analyze function, easy, 15, maybe 10,000 or 12,000, but those aren't very good systems, but $15,000 to $35,000. And they're not on apps. They're not handheld at all. They're not really considered portable. So this is honestly really amazing, and especially for the price point. Okay, so the top Australian bush, I don't know how to say that, isopogon, I guess. And it says the ability to learn from past experiences, regaining forgotten skills. connecting with others. You know, so I'm hard to say how that applies to my dog. This one keeps, the second one, keeping someone grounded and focused on the present to pay attention to details, reduces procrastination. So these, I don't know, like when I was in Colorado, I did Bach on him. I know a lot more familiar with Bach. And Honeysuckle showed up, and it said Honeysuckle was for homesick. And he definitely doesn't travel too good because he's so set in his ways. That made sense to me. And again, I sent that to him, and he just perked up, and he was a lot happier. He was really happy to get home. But I can just go in, and whichever one I'm choosing, it's just giving him a little taste of that remedy. So it would be like if I could went and bought all these remedies and was able to give him just a drop of the remedy, just enough. And this question comes up a lot. Well, would you go buy the remedies? And I would say sometimes. If the same Bach remedy, like let's say mustard is kind of like you're in a dark funk, you're like a dark cloud depression. If I did a scan on myself and mustard showed up for a week or two and I was feeling depressed, yeah, I'd get the actual remedy too, because this would be a great way to help support you. But there's just so many options here that I think it's really amazing. I'm not going to go into the chakras because not everybody's into that, but you know, you can see the list. I'll just put it up on the screen again. The different emotional stuff, the I Ching, and then all the program lists. So like I said earlier, I just want to clarify, if I wanted to go here into the sleep programs and I get whatever the top remedy is, I can either vibrate it to Eddie and not use the microcurrents at all, or I can take this information and go back to the other app where all the frequency are and do, these are actually the two that show up on me every time, systemic sleep and balanced sleep. It's interesting that this is my dog, and of course dogs take on their human problems. So it's the top two. So again, if I want to broadcast, it's just like these simple steps, super easy. I actually don't put very much thought into it. I just spend more time doing it. You know, you can research it, you can look into it, especially under Materia Medica. If you guys like homeopathy, you would love that one. That one is actually, has been super accurate on him. I actually run that one last because it gives a whole different set of information that I do think is very valuable. And we're going to cover homeopathy in the practitioner course too, because it's just something that is so powerful, but a lot of people don't know much about it. So I'm just basically showing you how to just navigate through this. It's not complicated. Maybe for the first time person, it just might take you the first time or two to get familiar. Okay, so this one is calendula, and this one has shown up on him before, but it's to promote healing and accelerating wound healing and countering infection. And it says for after tooth extraction. And this has been one of the biggest issues for him, has been his teeth, because he's 15. And some of the issues that he's been experiencing have been teeth issues and infection. And he seems to be a lot more stable now since I got the Healy. But from January until June were pretty scary for me, actually, because the vet said that it was congestive heart failure. And as soon as we got rid of the infection, he's been basically a different little doggy. Actually, I'm going to give him a little cream while I'm talking. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is the watch. And the watch apps are just like these apps. They're unique, they're different. They don't really duplicate information. They're giving you additional information. And like I said, it just depends on you guys, you know, how much you want to take on. But I do recommend that you start with the Healy and then learn it and learn the programs and then add the watch, because I think it could be overwhelming to learn everything at one time, even though they're kind of easy to use and navigate. So the first thing I want to show you with the watch, and this app is actually available with or without the watch, so I shouldn't say it's a watch app, but sorry, I have to log in real quick. The Healer Advisor app is for the person who, is like the person who's always wanting to ask, well, which program do I run for this? Which program do I run for that? You know, that kind of thing. Because it's like like an encyclopedia, I guess, of the most common medical conditions, along with which programs you would do to use them. So let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say someone has cancer, and that's a big question all the time. So if someone has cancer, then it tells you which programs to run. And there's actually quite a few. These are all the gold programs in the beginning, because cancer is all about emotions and detox. And then we have other programs down here. So your deep level programs after your gold cycle, those are all really the whole deep cycle thing is listed right there for cancer. So you see that? Deep cycle, deep cycle, deep cycle, deep cycle, deep cycle. So I don't think I noticed that before. All your deep cycle programs are under the additions, and then you have your gold cycle. So that's pretty interesting. And then if you had, you know, like seizures or epilepsy, I'm just going to give you a few examples that I've looked up. You know, this one is, it tells you exactly which programs to run. So it's like a, you know, just a easy reference of putting in, you know, whatever your issues are, and then finding out which programs to run. So this is not doing a scan on you. This is just a search function. So this is just like, oh, okay, I have thyroid issues. Okay, these are the programs that you would want to do for the thyroid. And it doesn't mean you have to do all of them. I would start working down the list and see which ones work for you. Okay, so that's basically what this program does. The other thing that's also in this particular advisor program, which is pretty cool, is that there's a calendar, and this is my personal program pool. So what a program pool means is that every time, let me actually go back a second. Let me show you something. If I were to put up, let's say thyroid again, because I do have thyroid issues. Let's say you see all the play signs, like that play. Well, there's a connector app that ties it right to your Healy. So if I click on thyroid gland, it'll take me to that particular microcurrent program and so I can start using it. But let's say regeneration, you see the plus sign? The plus sign means that it's not in my program list already. So if I want to add it to my program list, I can hit the plus sign, and at the bottom it says the program was added to your program pool. So any program I want to add, it ends up over here, so that this is the whole list of things I've added to my program pool, either because it's decided I need it or because I've decided I need it somehow. So it's pretty cool because it keeps it all in this list for you. I don't know what to call this, but program pool is a good word, because then because Healy doesn't think you should run more than 7 programs a day, and definitely not in the beginning. You see, it shows me my scheduled ones for today. And it's funny because I do these calls every Wednesday, so my Wednesday calendar always looks the same. But if I go to Thursday, my program list, no, it's still the same. It won't let me bump to Thursday because it knows today is today. So anyway, if you look at Thursday, it's a different list. So what it's taking is all the programs that it's recommended for me, and then it's putting them on a calendar, like a weekly calendar, and saying, okay, do these today, do these tomorrow, do these the next day. And then the list starts repeating. It starts rotating. Okay, so that's that. And then let's see what else. The digital nutrition app is a way to put in like what your lifestyle is and what you're avoiding. And if you're paleo or keto, you can put all the, you know, food choices here. I just eat clean, so I put clean eating. I don't have a specific diet. But, you know, you can pick paleo or pescatarian or vegan. And that helps it decide which nutritional items you need. It also will, you can put your intolerances. So I put that I don't do gluten, wheat, or dairy. And then it also gives you a shopping list to try to fulfill your, maybe your nutritional deficiencies, especially with vegan or even paleo, it'll give you more recommendations. And then there's reports. And so you can just put your well-being, and it tracks that. So that also makes recommendations. Everything makes recommendations depending on, you know, the input that you put in there. And then the other thing I want to show you is on the Healy Watch. So this is all the parameters Oh, it needs to sync real quick. Sorry. There it goes. Okay, so today it says I've walked 4,127 steps. That's weird. It's weird it didn't pick up the sleep data last night. Oh, it says network unavailable, that's why. So it has to sync with the cloud, and sometimes it just doesn't. The heart rate variability, you see my number is poor, but I haven't actually checked it. I want to show you one thing before I do that. Here, this is my watch app until I ask it for additional information. So I want to show you this because this is one of the cool things. Usually it has a recommendation here, but if it's not syncing, maybe the cloud stuff is down right now, I'm not sure. But let's just say I want to go to check my heart rate and all that analysis right now and see how things are going. So I can just click start, and you put your finger on the watch and it starts tracking all your stuff, you know, so it can make recommendations for you. And so this is real time. You guys are seeing real time what the Healy is doing. And it does a countdown on my watch, and it does 90 seconds, and then it goes down. It's like at 70 now, and actually should be still, but I'm talking and sitting in a chair and, you know, probably not being perfectly still. But you can see like good heart rhythm. The BIA looks like it's all over the place. You can see my beats per minute. So it measures a lot just through the fingertip. And see, my heart rate variability is like a 50. And this is better because of using the Healy. When I very first started, it was pretty much an 18. Like 16 was the very lowest number I saw. It was 18. So it's getting up there. At least it's better than it was. So we'll see what it says is the final number. I still have 30 seconds left. So the watch is not just taking your information, but you'll see in a second, based on the actual real data, it will give you recommendations. Like if the sleep information from last night transferred in, this is the first time I've opened this app today, so it didn't sync earlier. I just never had time to go look at it. And it's not usually till the evening that I get to run the programs anyway. So it has 3 seconds left. Okay, so then when it finishes, it gives this chart of the heart rate variability, the breath rate, and the heart rate. And if I go back and then go to home, I'm sorry, right here, now you see some recommendations. Like it's told me to do stress, systemic, heart rate variability, and digital nutrition. All except maybe one day, it didn't. Every day but one, it's told me these recommendations, except one night I saw that my blood pressure spiked, and I don't know why it spiked, but one night my blood pressure, my pulse went from like the 60s to like 103, and something else spiked, and I didn't see it till the next day, and all these recommendations were different. They were wanting me to do blood pressure support instead of HRV support. So this is what makes this way cooler than a Fitbit or watch that's just giving you data but no solutions. So if I want to go out and back in, like let me just do this properly so you can see. I want to close these real quick. Okay, so if I'm in the watch app and it's like making these recommendations, then I can click on heart rate variability support and turn on my Healy, and it'll take me directly to that program in the Healy so that I can run that program. I don't have to go find it. It'll find it for me. And all I have to do is really download and start. So it just went, I didn't push any buttons. It just went to HRV support. It says it's 45 minutes. I can hit start. And so if you want to, there's lots of ways to get here. You can either go here because it's been showing up on me every day, or I can go here by the watch, or I can go here through the advisor program because it's also on my program pool. So it's basically gathering data on you and storing it in various ways. That it's not like one way you can do this. There's like lots of ways. And I think what I would tell people is it's easy, but it takes time to just navigate, you know, like I even like go, oh, wow, I didn't know that was there. I find things all the time. So it's just not hard. And what I would also say is I've had lots of testimonies now. Next week, if you're interested and you're on this call for the first time, if you send me your email, I do these calls twice a week, this call every Wednesday, but on Tuesdays, we're just going to do a live Q&A, but we're going to show some kind of troubleshooting things, but also some kind of cool things about getting, moving around with Healy between the apps. But there's so much that you can do. And we have so many also really great testimonies already of people that have not had the Healy very long and absolutely crazy success with things like even like chronic pain and, well, me, chronic sleep issues. I had chronic sleep issues for over 30 years, resolved in like 2 nights. Now, I can't say that happens to everybody, but I can say I've had some pretty cool success stories, even with tooth pain and all kinds of stuff. So I guess what I want to do is go back to Zoom for a second and open this up for questions on the people that are on the call. And you can just unmute yourself because you can just ask the question. And I know I did a little bit different format tonight because I was really trying to focus on the microcurrent apps. But okay, so this is the Healy device. Also, I want to show you this if you couldn't see it earlier or didn't see it. It's very small. I'm usually tucking it into my bra strap, but there's straps and there's electrodes that you can also put on. This is the Healy watch. Doesn't stay on very long, but you can see basically what it looks like. And the little silver part here is what you touch to get your readings. So anyway, this is it, small, easy to use. When I'm using it with my doggy, I can show you, he's laying here by the window. And I just put it like literally next to him or on him. He loves the Healy. When it's working, he's like, hi, buddy. When it's working, he'll like reposition himself where it's sitting like in front of him, like where he's cradling it and stuff like that. So he actually loves it. But anyway, if you have a question, please ask me about anything. And also, if someone told you about this call and you're interested in getting a Healy, you should go back to that person that told you about the call and let them know that you're ready to move forward. I'm not the one to place the order with the Healy with unless you're in my direct downline, but I would like you to go to who invited you because we're all working as a team here. All right, does anyone have a question?
I have a question. When I originally was introduced to the Healy machine, the individual, the tech that was doing it, she took a picture of me and ran some kind of an analysis. Is that a part of the Healy machine that I got?
That's what I just showed you when I showed you my dog.
Okay, so how do I do that to update my picture? Where?
Do you have a Healy?
Yes.
Oh, well, to update the picture, I'll show you, but if you have a question about getting a Healy is the main thing, but I can show you that real quick. To update a picture, you just have, also there's an instruction manual in the back office, which teaches you all this kind of stuff that's easy to follow. But if you go to clients and you go to yourself, like I want to pull in my dog, there's a little pencil there. That's an edit button. So you can just click that.
It won't let you unmute the camera.
And you can pull in, you see right here, I can, once you click on
your screen, Dr. Gwen.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back and show you again. Yeah, I forgot to share it again. So what I was trying to show you is right here, you have your picture and sometimes it's just, just playing around and pushing buttons, but there is a user manual and I recommend that you get that because all these things about like saving and all that is all, see now it's gonna lock me out because I was already in it. Hold on, let me close the app again. And this is something for you to know too. If your app is open, you need to close them because if you try to get back in, it's gonna act like you're already in it and you didn't get out of it properly. Because I'm on a Zoom call, so I'm not going in the right order. Okay, so let's go back in now. So with my dog, if I want to change the picture, you just touch the picture, and then down at the bottom, it asks you for your new picture.
Okay, I was not aware. I'm seeing that I need to get the Heal Advisor app.
No,
And get,
no, this isn't the advisor app. This is the Resonance.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know what you have, so it's hard for me to say what's going on
You
here.
held it up in your hand. I
Yeah,
have
that's
the,
the Healy. That's the Healy device, but there's 4 levels of Healy. So let's go back over that for a minute.
The
Healy
actual
Gold.
app is called Heal Advisor. When she saw it on the screen, that's what she's referring to. The actual
Okay,
app.
this is
Heal
actually
Advisor. Yes, that's
yeah. This is actually the Analyze app. It
yeah,
says that
the
name.
word now, when I just downloaded it, it changed the name. Now it is called Heal Advisor.
I know, but everyone that has a Healy refers to this as Analyze. If you have the Advisor app, it's this app. There's multiple apps doing different things. So just so you guys, because if you say Advisor, you're talking about this. So what we refer to it as is this is the blue dot app, and the other one's the pink dot app. That's actually the non-technical way we've been distinguishing the difference.
Thank you.
so
Yeah, you're
there's
welcome.
a Healy app and a advisor and a Heal Advisor.
Yeah, but when you go into your instruction manual, it tells you which one to load for what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Dr. Quinn,
Okay. Yes.
I have a question. This
Okay.
is Brenda, and I don't yet have a Healy. I'm trying to decide which version I want to purchase. I have a couple of questions. The first one is when it asks you if you're running, it tells you to run a program and it says hook up the electrodes. We heard the other night or the other day on a call that someone with epilepsy can't use those electrodes. Do all the apps work without electrodes and only certain ones work with electrodes? Is that how that works, or?
So with epilepsy, there's programs that you can run because they're listed, and I say this on every call, and I probably shouldn't. I was thinking about this morning. If I had epilepsy, I would use the electrodes, but Healy cannot tell you that. Is from a liability issue, because if someone was triggered and you were using the Healy at the time, now the person could have 20 seizures a day, but someone's going to put a Healy on and have a seizure and say Healy did it. Okay, get it? There's so many people that already have issues that want to blame something on somebody. So Healy can't officially say do that. But if you go to the Advisor app, it tells you which programs to use for epilepsy and seizures. Okay. If it was me, and if you want to be cautious, I would just put it near the person, because it has a field. You don't have to have it on you. And actually, I put mine here, or it's on my bed in between me and my dog, because we need the same program. So you can also use the Analyze app, the Blue Dot app, and vibrate remedies to the person and never touch them. So there's a lot of ways you can skin a cat with seizures and in heart disease, pacemakers, all that stuff. I actually thought about this a lot this morning, and some of you were on the call last night, because the question came up about heart disease. And what I would tell people is there's a lot of people out there with very chronic conditions. And even as a naturopathic doctor, I would go very slow with that person. Not because of Healy, not because I'm worried about Healy, but because you wouldn't do anything very quick with someone that's in a collapsed state. Now, when someone's on 10 heart medications and they're and they have diabetes and they're on all this stuff, they're a walking time bomb anyway. I don't personally think Healy is the risk. I think the medicine is the risk, but that's my opinion. Okay. So they're already a walking time bomb. You got an advanced stage 4 cancer. That's a walking time bomb. So what Healy has to do, and what I have to do too as a naturopathic doctor, is I have to be very careful with those people. So I'm suggesting that you do the same thing. I'm not saying don't do it, But just drinking 2 glasses of lemon water a day might be too much for someone who's very, very sick, because maybe they don't drink water and they don't detox at all. And you can't imagine some of the clients I deal with. They are so sick, but they've also been eating crap their whole lives and drinking, 6 sodas a day and a pot of coffee a day and all these very, very, very terrible habits. So you can't undo that quickly. So what I would tell people, when I got the Healy, I went from 3 programs like they suggested to 7 to more than 7. And I'm not worried about it all, but I've been detoxing for 20 years. But if you guys have a situation where you have a very sick family member, more is not better. It's just like to get them to drink this bottle of water a day might be a huge improvement, but that might also like cause them to be in the bathroom a lot, but it's like you have to kind of figure it out. So I would say that in a lot of the questions about different conditions and is it safe, I think common sense is the best approach, because I would have no problem, me personally, using the Healy on any condition that I had. That's me, because I've been doing this a long time. But people that are worried about certain conditions, I would say don't put it on the body if you're worried. Do it in small doses, put it near the body, but don't touch the body, or use the analyze mode. And I want to go back to a question because it seemed like 2 people kind of have the same question. So with the Healy device, there's 4 levels of Healy that you can buy. And whoever told you about this call can send you information specifically on the programs. But on the gold, you're getting 40 programs. So 40 of the programs I showed you guys. And there's a list of what those are. On the holistic health, you're getting 80. On the holistic health plus, you're getting 131. On the resonance, you're getting all 131 programs plus the ability to analyze. So it's only the resonance that you can analyze with, and it's the one that I recommend. Now, if I was trying to get a Healy from my mom, who's in her 70s, who is troubled with her cell phone, I am not going to get her the analyze one, because she'll drive me crazy. So if you're challenged, like you can't even use your cell phone except to dial a number, then I would not probably go with the analyze mode, because you're going to be flustered. Not that it's hard, but if you don't even use your apps on your phone, you're probably not the best person for that. But you can still use the microcurrents, because it's literally logging in, picking something and hitting start. You have to close some apps and you have to figure out your Bluetooth, but those are not hard to figure out. I'll also say one other thing is that if you're in a bad Wi-Fi area, like you're on LTE, or you are commonly with 1 bar dropping calls,
We gotta check about that.
Healy would be challenged, because it does depend on Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So I just want to tell you that if you're in that situation where, you have terrible Wi-Fi, like you're in a rural area and you have T-Mobile, let's say, and it just is terrible, then it's going to be hard, because you need the Wi-Fi signal to download the program. Now, after the download, the device is what's doing everything. Like once I do the download that you guys saw, I can walk away from my phone. I do not need my phone. I can go on a hike, a walk. I can take my dogs to the park, and it's still working. The Healy's still working. The phone is only like your control. So the phone is letting you choose the program. It's letting you start the program. It's monitoring how many minutes there's left, but it is not doing the work. This is doing the work. So you just need that Wi-Fi long enough to download the program, and then it's all here. But if it's really glitchy and anything interrupts that download, then it's not going to download. Okay, is there other questions?
I do have another question, if you all don't mind. If you're running if you have the resonance and you run you put in a program pool, a creative program pool, can you create more than one? Say I have a resonance and I want to also create a pool for my daughter or for somebody else, my dog or my horse. Can you load all those different program pools, or does the resonance only hold one and each person has to have their own?
Okay, good question. And I know it's confusing because I'm going through all these different apps, but the resonance doesn't have the program pool. That's in the advisor app that you buy separately. So if you want to get the advisor app, you can purchase it separately, but it has to be per person because it's very personalized. It's really meant to be personalized with the watch. Now, that's a great question too, because the Healy can be used for the whole family. Like I use the Healy, my dog uses the Healy. When clients come over, I use the Healy on them. So the Healy can be used on anybody. It's not personalized to you. And as you saw when I went into the Analyze program, the Blue Dot app, there's multiple people listed there. So you can load as many people as you want in that. It's just that when you get to the watch is measuring you all day long and what you're doing and how you're sleeping. So this is not really shareable, because if I put the watch on and then you put the watch on, the Healy's going to be very confused on what's going on with me, because your stuff would look very different than my stuff and no telling what it would recommend. So it would be very confusing. So I would say the Healy is definitely a family thing, but the watch is definitely it's like a Fitbit. You wouldn't share a Fitbit for the same reasons, or, you know, same stuff.
What about the DNA app? Is that individual?
The DNA app is not necessarily individual, but except for, like I said, if you're paleo and gluten intolerant and whatever,
Okay.
I mean, you can change those factors and get information, but you'd have to keep changing it, because that's also funneling. See, that these are great questions, because one thing to know is when you buy the watch bundle, it all talks to each other. So you have the connector app, you have the advisor app, and then you have the digital nutrition app and the watch app.
Right.
All of them talk together. So when it's making recommendations, it's going to your program pool and the advisor app, and maybe I'll do another call just separately on the watch, but it's kind of meant to be your personal advisor. Now, the advisor app, though, is a search, and it's not just unique to you, but that's where the program pool thing is. So I would just say if someone buys the watch, you might consider just saying the watch bundle is per person. I mean, I'm only a one-person family here with 2 dogs, so I can't tell you what would happen if you had 3 watches in, you know, on the programs, but maybe that'll be coming up, or someone will tell me, but since I'm only one person, I don't know. I don't cross over too well though, because it would be giving you all these kind of mixed messages on what you should do.
Another question is, when a person sends you their picture, if they only have a picture of a couple, can you center in on that one person?
Yeah, when you're loading the picture, you can move it around. It is best if the picture is by themselves. And this question came up last night. I really don't understand why this is so difficult, because everybody has cell phones and can take a selfie and text it. You know, like that takes 2 seconds for me to take a picture of myself and send it by text. And who doesn't does?
Good point. What was your question?
So I wouldn't worry about the pictures, but it is best for not people in the picture. The Healy definitely goes by the picture for the analysis.
We have the watch, and it was working for a while, but this morning it quit. We reinstalled it, the watch app, and now it keeps saying that it can't connect to the watch.
Well, mine just said that too, and there has been issues where the cloud, not just Healy, but I don't know, 3 Saturdays ago, the cloud was down for everybody.
Oh, okay.
My message just said that too, and I told you I hadn't turned on my watch. I've had my watch on, but I hadn't turned on the app yet, and it couldn't sync to find my sleep data. And it said, the network's down. So when it says that, that's the cloud. That's not, that's else. But that did also happen a few weeks ago, and I heard other people telling me that they couldn't.
Data wasn't there, just like yours.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of background noise there.
Yeah, I'm talking to my wife. So
Yeah.
because she didn't have a sleep data this morning, and that's the reason we reset it, and have had problems ever since. And I just got a new watch, and it keeps saying that the watch keeps shutting off. I put on the watch app, and after a few seconds, it says the watch is quitting, and then it drops out.
Well, but the message is saying the network's down. That's not a Healy thing, and that's not a watch thing.
Okay, this one does. It says the watch keeps stopping.
Is that what the message says?
Yeah, on the app. The watch keeps stopping.
I have no idea except for, do you need to charge it?
Just did.
Okay, I don't know, but might have to,
Put a
I don't know.
customer service.
Network
Okay.
down, and I didn't know that till I got on this call.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
but yeah, it keeps saying that. Your watch keeps quitting.
Yeah,
So,
I would, network comes back up because right now mine isn't, I mean,
okay, I'll wait till tomorrow.
I can't say what's happening.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone else have a question?
I do. Hi, Dr. Gwynn. My name is Patty, and I just got my Healy yesterday, so I'm so fired up and stoked about it. And I'm glad I got on the call. So I really want to start off by saying I really appreciate you sharing your expertise with a Healy and just taking the time with us to go over it. So it's been awesome. I'm glad I did join the call. But one thing I just wanted to ask you about, I do have the residence. But you mentioned that one of the first things that you would recommend is a detox. And when you mentioned that, you were kind of scanning past the gold cycle. So would you recommend that I run a detox before I scan my body?
I would run Pure and Release on the gold cycle every day for at least a week. So Pure and Release in the gold menu.
And do that before I run a scan to do any other programs?
Well, I would just do that. I mean,
just
I
do
would
that. Okay.
do those two, and then you're only supposed to do 3 a day at first. So then you can
Okay.
do it, see what else to do, but then you're left only with one. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything just to do Pure and Release for a week, because Pure, Release, and Sleep, and I had
Sure.
amazing results. And Pure and Release can honestly solve a lot of people's problems.
Okay, wonderful. And then do the scan a week later to see where I'm at, my body's at, after it's detox.
You could still look at flower essences, and you could do other things. But as far as the program, the microcurrent programs go, I would definitely start with Pure and Release, and just let your body have a break and drink lots of water, and then go into the analyze. You can do the Bach essences, you could do nutrition. So there's other things in there under analyze that you can do without going back to the microcurrents.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else?
Gwen?
Hi.
Hi, it's Elsa. How much is a watch bundle with all the, like the advisor and all that?
I don't have it up on my computer right now, but it's in the 500 range, and that pays for 3 months of the subscription. So that gives you the watch and the apps and 3 months of the apps. So they don't charge you then until the 4th month, which hasn't happened yet for me. So I haven't been charged. So that's like all inclusive. If you go into the back office and go under shop, it shows the watch bundle and it shows everything that you're getting. And then you have to put in the serial number of your Healy so that it connects. And what happened for me when I got my watch was that the next day after I ordered the watch, my programs were here before I got the watch. And then when I got the watch synced, and then everything was pretty easy. So you could actually get the apps loaded and using them before the watch arrives, which my watch only took a week, but right now they're saying 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question about the cell phones. I know they say that you can hook one Healy up to 5 different cell phones. And what I need to know is if everybody in your house doesn't have a cell phone, can like 2 people, not at the same time, of course, but can they use the cell phone, the same cell phone to use the Healy? Not at the same time.
Yeah, because the cell phone doesn't matter what cell phone you use. It's just your monitor. So you could load it. Like my assistant Lindsay uses my Healy, and she comes in every morning and works for me, and so she has it on her phone. So she just likes to use her phone, so she does it on her phone, and then I do it on my phone. But Lindsay could use my phone to do the Healy because it's not personal to her. But on the Analyze app, Lindsay's on my list of people that's on my Analyze app, so she uses that app too. So when you're doing the microcurrents, it's whoever is holding the Healy gets the Healy, and not whose phone. And then on the Analyze app, you can only do one person at a time, but they don't even have to be in the room. They can be, I'm in Texas, they could be in Las Vegas. It doesn't matter. So hopefully they need to be holding the Healy. Whoever's holding the Healy is getting the microcurrents. But on the Analyze app, there's no distance matter. It doesn't matter what the distance is.
Okay, now can I ask one more question?
Yes.
This has to do with the workshop you're doing.
Okay.
I tried to register for that today, and it wouldn't let me go past the first page. Do you think it's full?
I know it's not full yet, but we've had a really good turnout, so I'm excited. If you can't get through, just call me tomorrow before 1 o'clock, and I'll do it manually, because I can do it manually and it should be fine. I don't know why it's doing that. No one else has reported that they can't get through. So I have no idea what's happening, because no one's told me anything, but I don't mind doing it manually for you if you just send me an email and send me your phone number.
Okay, I did send you an email. I didn't put my phone number in, so I'll send you another email with my phone number.
Because I didn't see an email about this. What time did
it was earlier today, I think, like around 2 or 3 o'clock, and then I think I might have sent one later.
Okay, well, just if you already sent it, I have it. I was on health appointments with clients since 1 o'clock, so I haven't sent emails, and I had a keyboard issue today, so I'm actually a little bit behind on emails, but I'll get to it by tomorrow.
I knew you were busy. I wasn't saying. I just appreciate you very much, and I just want to make sure I get signed up for the workshop before it closes out.
Okay, so let me just mention a little bit about that too, because there still is room, but when it's full, it's going to be full, because GoToWebinar will only allow so many people without me paying a monthly fee to increase it, which is a pretty big jump. But basically the webinar is, the workshop is the last weekend of August, and Maria Boldry, she has a clinic in Greeley, Colorado. She's been in natural health care as long as I have. And we're doing a joint effort between Healy stuff, but what we're really trying to focus on is our understanding of how things work with the body and what does what. And I'll just give you an example, because this is kind of my life every day, and Maria's life every day. And so like today, I had this client, and the daughter makes this appointment for her mom, and she's telling me that she has feet swelling, ankle swelling, feet pain, and what else was she concerned about? Weight gain, but in the upper belly. And that was like her main concerns. And I'm like, okay, well, those sound pretty simple. And then I get the lady's lab work, and the lady has Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid disorder. She has kidney disease, basically early stages kidney disease, which would cause the feet pain and the swelling, because it's like gout. She has hypertension. She has all these things going on, but, and then the liver is the upper belly weight. That's that weight above the belly. That's like what we call the roll. But it's also when people can't eat fats or proteins, they can't digest them well, they're nauseous, they don't have any appetite. They really feel miserable when they eat just about anything. But it's that upper belly weight gain. It's like when people clear their throat a lot because they just always have something to clear. It can be skin issues, allergies. So what we're trying to do in the workshop is share that kind of information, because sometimes people are thinking a skin issue is a skin issue when it's really a liver issue, or actually the kidneys have more to do with the heart than the heart itself. The heart's just a muscle pumping, but it's the kidneys that control the hypertension usually. And that's why they put people on diuretics, which actually make your kidney worse. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the body that the normal person doesn't learn in high school or college, that people need to know to be able to take care of themselves, and not just the Healy. We always say this all the time, Maria and I especially, because we are full-time practitioners, is that the Healy can't do everything. The Healy can do a lot. Already had some, like I said, amazing testimonies But there's a lot of other factors that people need to know what's going on, and people need to be responsible. So we're going to try to teach you as much as we can in a weekend about how to care for your body, the signs of what's going wrong and what the underlying cause is, and how to really be able to help yourself, like to empower you guys to know what's what, you know, what's affecting what. And anyway, it's a weekend. It's $169. It's a Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Right now, we're at over 100 pages of handouts. We have checklists, we have questionnaires, we have documents that are references, we have some things to connect the dots with the Healy. So if you're a person getting into Healy and you really have this strong desire to learn how to help yourself and your family, I think $169 is an easy investment. And so I'm just going to share that. And if you're not on my email list and want to be on my email list, because I only send out Healy information, I only send out these Zoom calls, which I do twice a week, then send an email to my email and I'll put it in the chat. But it's Gwen, Gwen, which is my name, and then at gfia.net. And all you have to do is say, add me to your email list, and I'll add you. And then everything I do from then on, you'll be notified. And the workshop, it says the practitioner workshop because we're practitioners teaching it, but it's not for practitioners. It is for practitioners too, but it's for regular everyday people that want to know more about being healthy and how to do that and how to get to the underlying cause. And I'm a huge Hannah Kroger fan. Her work changed my life and got me out of all my health issues. And then I ran her health retreat in Boulder, and I've been teaching her work ever since. So I'm naturally like to help people and teach people because I think that's what's empowering. And also, you know, one person just can't have, I mean, you only deal with so many people individually. You want to really teach people how to help other people. You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope some of you will sign up because I think that you'll definitely get your money's worth, especially from the documents that we've already put together. So does anyone else, I'll take about another 15 minutes worth of questions if there's that many, if anyone else has a question.
When can I have a question?
Yes.
Yes. You know that the Healy works with the microcurrent, but also with like the system of the time weaver. Like you can do healing for a person very far away in another country, maybe, but just with a photograph. It's like the information field with the intention that it will go there. That's how it works.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
it's informational medicine and it's scalar wave technology. And Timer does this for practitioners, and they just made a personal use model for people, and that's the Analyze Blue Dot app. And like I said earlier, that information has been around quite a long time. There's other devices, and not to take anything away from TimeWaver, but just so you know, the SKIO, the Indigo, the QXCI, the Life System, the Core System, the NES, Introspect, EIS, DDFAO are all technology that, I mean, there's more than that, but and TimeWaver, but there's more than that have that ability. So this technology of being able to do a remote scan has been around for at least 20 years. I mean, I know they invented the technology to start with. His name is Gabor Ledzinski, and I think that was 24 years ago. So this is definitely not new. And if anyone wants to look this up, there's a Princeton study. Princeton did a study called the Princeton Electroanomaly Research, where they had to actually disprove that this was even possible. And what they ended up was proving that this was possible. And then that research team went on to do they're called PAIR, P-E-A-R, like P period E period A period R period. And they went on to post-grad out of Princeton. They do, I don't know if it's called data mining or what, it's predictive linguistics is, I think, what I would call it. And that's a whole nother subject. But anyway, I just don't want you guys to think that that's new, because it's not. And also microcurrents is not new, because that's been around since the 40s, and starting kind of with Rural Rife, Elton Pig, and all of the people that worked under them as apprentices. And it's just morphed and changed. You know, Nina Silver has done a great amount of work on Rife frequencies and putting all the data together. There's lots of information online. It's just that Healy made it easy. Like, that's what I like, is that none of this is new technology. It's how they packaged it for the regular everyday person and made it affordable. And like I said, I've have over $300,000 invested in technology, because 20 years ago when I got into this, I'm already a junkie with electronics. I have an electronics degree. That was my first degree before I went into medicine. But the thing is that if they would have had Healy 20 years ago, that would have been a lot more simple, because I wouldn't have had to go the route I went. And I'm not complaining. It's just that you guys have a huge opportunity to have a lot of knowledge. And I'll see, I just dropped my Healy. That's not good. You have a great deal of knowledge in this little thing, you know, that you can have access to, that is just amazing for the price.
Yeah. What's the name of this study? Do you name about this?
Princeton, like Princeton University, Princeton Anomaly Research, and the acronym PAIR, PEAR. And you can find, I think the study used to be online. You can read the whole thing. I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be. You could actually find it.
Thank you, Wayne. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And
Dr.
that study was done 18 years ago. So that at least tells you how long this stuff has been around.
Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Nguyen, when you took us through the Blue Dot app, you had ran for Eddie, and you had did the all Healy programs, and you did that analysis. And can you explain to me in there, when I have the opportunity after running the analysis and doing the scan with the fingerprint, you can do the vibrate option with all those that it suggests, but you had suggested maybe backing up and actually going and redoing the analysis just on that Healy Gold, if that was like the one that populated. Can you share with us the benefit of, or the difference of me being in that full run scan where it pulled up all the Healy programs, and I have the opportunity to do the vibrate there and maybe create the time that I want to do, like the free, or the amount of time, versus going back and actually just running that one Healy Gold program and do the analysis through there?
That's a great, yeah, I understand. So on the Healy, when you run all programs, I don't almost ever vibrate from there, because this is why. In the gold programs, like gold was the top one, and let's say the gold resonates at like 70%. Well, your second one may be only 40%. So it's not even very relative. And then you run the gold separately, and then you'll have a higher resonance, because those were the top matches for him. So sometimes those percentages are important, because if there's a percentage under 50%, I ignore it completely. I don't even spend 1 second there. So my intention is to go to the top factor that's affecting him today, and then basically then kind of laser in and be specific then under that program. And then you're getting something way more specific that I think would be useful. Now, that's only my interpretation. I'm not saying that that's what everyone does, but I look at those percentages, and I really do ignore anything under, like, even if I run Bach flower essences on him and everything was low, I would just move on, because it's just not his biggest deal today. And sometimes people do have big emotional days one day, and then another day it's something else. And so I think you shouldn't ignore those numbers, because the top thing may be the only thing really relative. Like, it's giving you the top 5, but only the top 1 may be the only one that really matters.
Thank you so much. And you had mentioned that when we're in the Pink Dot app, that's the microcurrent. Whereas when we're doing it from the Blue Dot app, is that frequency, or is that?
Yeah, so that's a great question too. Okay, so this is, I'm a kind of a stickler on this because of my electronics background, because people use the word frequency way too loosely. Frequency is a measurable hertz, period. If you can't measure a hertz with an oscilloscope or some testing and it doesn't have juice to it, it is not a frequency. People can talk about frequency healing and Reiki and all this stuff, and I'm not against any of it. I'm just saying that they're using the wrong term, because frequency is a measurable hertz. That's the definition of it. So when people say they're using frequencies and they're not, I get a little annoyed. Now, when you're in the Blue Dot app, it's you could call it informational medicine. You could kind of compare it to homeopathy. You could say it's scalar wave. You could say it's informational field. You could say holographic field, but it's not frequencies because it's not measurable hertz. So that is a great question, because I hear this all the time, that they're sending frequencies. You're not sending a frequency, because a frequency cannot be sent through the air. It's impossible.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other last questions? Like, we'll do 5 more minutes if you guys have any.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
I can't remember what program it was, and you mentioned addictions. Do you have any information or testimonials about, say, alcohol or drug addiction, or what would you suggest there?
It's under mental emotional, and on the program list it mentions drug, alcohol, and tobacco. So that if you go to the program list, it'll tell you which one to use, because it doesn't say that on the screen. So you do have to use the program list. I don't actually have a testimony myself since May. I mean, between lockdowns and it's me, using the Healy for me and my dog and the few people that are coming as live appointments. I don't have, that's just one I don't have a testimony for. Someone might, I sent it out recently to my email list, but there's a group that's a Facebook group that is all testimonies, and that might be a good place to look for that. And I can resend it, but it's actually a European testimonial group, which is awesome because they don't have to worry about the FDA, so they can say whatever they want. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I can send that later. I mean, I can send it by email. I just don't know the name of it right this second.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I only kind of got on board today and ordered my Healy. So yeah, really excited. And it's 1:27 in the morning here because I'm in the UK.
Okay, I can, yeah. Well, someone has an accent, you don't know where they are in the world. But one thing I'll say about addictions, just from a naturopathic standpoint, is that the Healy does have 3 programs for addictions specifically. But as a naturopathic doctor, what I know about addictions is you really have to make sure, and I see this way more in blood type A's than other blood types, and vegans, because of the lack of protein and amino acids in particular. And so with addictions, I always want to check serotonin and dopamine levels. And if I was using the digital nutrition, I would make sure and use those 2 microcurrent programs. Because what I always tell people about addictions from my perspective is, like I'm 57. So it was in the 80s that everyone I knew was partying and doing drugs and whatever, and ecstasy and coke and all that was very popular in the 80s. So, but some people did it, and it was like, that's stupid and a waste of money. And then someone else does it, just like smoking a cigarette the first time, and you go, oh my God, that's the nastiest crap I've ever tried, and you don't ever do it again. But then someone else does it and they get hooked. That's all about dopamine. And in the original AA program in the 40s, well, I don't know if it was the 40s exactly, but 40s to 50s, in the very original program before it split, that nutrition was a huge part. And so was amino acid therapy, way before Dr. Amen and all these amino acid guys. And it was a huge thing to be able to make sure that the nutritional needs were met, because a lot of addicts, and any addict, chocolate even, is about a dopamine imbalance. And then there's this dopamine thing that can go between too little and too much, and stuff like that. So if I was dealing with an addiction situation personally, I would also make sure that nutrition is considered, because I think that that's a big factor into getting really, long-term results.
Everybody. So Gwen?
Yes.
My name is Arlene. I'm just wondering, is dopamine in the advisor, the Healy advisor?
It's in the digital nutrition. So in the digital nutrition, it's dopamine and maybe even also phenylalanine. So phenylalanine converts to dopamine in the body. And I would also just try serotonin, because those 2 are huge for addiction, and they have to be, if you try to take someone off of an addictive item like cigarettes or tobacco or anything without resolving those 2, you'll never get results.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, I just walked in. Yes.
I have one last question. This is Cher.
Hey,
I
Sharon.
ran, hi, I ran on Pori the bioenergetic 2, and it said thyroid, bacteria, liver, lung. So should I then run just the thyroid, just the bacteria? I mean, how should I go from there?
Well, you can run them, and what the question that came up last night is, well, how long? And when you're talking about 4 programs like that are all like an hour each, you have to just decide. Like you could go down the list and do like bacteria, because I think that one's also 60 minutes. But I would, like what I do with my dog is I just put one on and I go do stuff, and then it ends, and then I do the next one. So it's not like, it takes me 2 seconds to reset it. So I would, again, with your dog, start slow. They don't recommend more than 3 programs a day, so you got to pick 3. And even with dogs, I would do pure and release first, because that's doing is opening up their elimination channels and their toxins and stuff to allow them to let go of it. So what a lot of people have said, and I've noticed this too, is that just from pure and release, like I noticed when I got my Healy, and I wouldn't say it was really a problem, but I realized that, and this is kind of a known thing with Hashimoto's, is that if you exercise or you're very active, you're just hurt, you're just kind of stiff and you hurt. And I was, trying to increase my steps, and I was doing all the stuff, and I was hurting a little bit more than I thought I should, like it wasn't really a problem, but I would say it was like a stiffness. And I started running the Pure and Release program. I didn't do anything else different. And that was just completely gone. I have no aches and pains right now at all. And they weren't even close to disabling or anything. It was just kind of annoying. It's like something that someone would say, oh, you're getting old. And I would just be annoyed that someone said that. So I would say even with a dog, and this is what I did with Eddie, do that Pure and Release first. Don't leave that step out, because it's super important just as a basic thing to start with. You might just do those 2 for a week and then start adding the other programs. And I know everybody's always like anxious, like ready to get going and do as much as they can, but I try to equate it to taking pills. You wouldn't just like do nothing and then take 20 pills a day, because that's not good either. The body doesn't like that. So I would say the same is true of the Healy. Slow is better, and then start building up. Oh, and by the way, Cher, I want to say this too, because some people have contacted me. They don't drink enough water, and then they and dogs, they're going to drink water or not. My dog happens to drink a lot of water, and it's weird. Right after the Healy, he always jumps up and drinks like half a bowl of water. So it's like he knows he needs to drink it. But if you don't drink water and you do too much Healy, you're going to feel like you have the flu. You're going to start cramping and start feeling crappy, and you might even have a fever because the toxins can't get out of your body. So if you get your Healy and you do too much, that would be normal. Do not run to the doctor unless you really think it's something else. And you need to back off. You need to hydrate and take it more slowly. Don't just rush at everything, and more is not better.
Right. And you run like an hour on Eddie? You don't have a problem running a long time on him?
Oh, I run 6 or 7 hours now, but I've had mine since May.
I mean, on Eddie.
Yeah, on Eddie, I do 6 or 7 programs. I'll do free flow and breath of life usually twice a day. I'll do regeneration. I'll do sleep or relax on him. I'll do the heart and the kidneys. So, but I've had it since May. I didn't start out doing that. I started out doing Pure and Release for both of us.
Yeah. We did the Pure and Release, and Pori and I both had to go to the potty in the middle of the release.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yes. Thank you.
That's kind of normal. Okay, well, thanks you guys. We're at an hour and a half, more than an hour and a half, so I don't want to keep you all night. And my doggies need to go. They're like sitting at the door. You can see. He's like at the door going, okay, it's time. So, and here's my other one. She's like, hello, it's time. So I'm going to take care of these guys because they're super important. And you guys have a great night. And like I said, if you want to get on my email list, shoot me an email to gwen@gfia.net. And if you're interested in Healy, please go back to Who Told You About This Call. And we're going to be doing a call next week, next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. That's Maria and I just talking about troubleshooting and more of the user questions. And then we'll do this call again next Wednesday. It's always different questions, so it's good maybe. But the going through the apps is always the same, so that might be kind of boring for some of you, but to watch again. But the questions are always different. So anyway, thanks for spending your time with me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Dr. Gwen.
Bye.
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Dr. Gwen.
Bye. Y'all have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you so much. It was fabulous.
Bye. Thank you.